Statistics-wise, they have the highest win percentage and highest pick rate on this map. And we saw them beat teams yesterday on this very map. And so far, it's been going pretty damn well for them. Against 3 hungry contact players that would like to claim, as it were, rush straight out, get up into the face of mousesports. A lot of freedom comes with it, but Frozen has the drop with his M4. He goes down next, and now it's down to Chris J with his A1S to try and hold the line, using each and every one of those bullets, but finally meets his demise. And in doing so, leaving Rops with the M4 to try and create some carnage on the side. Say that there's more than one. It is BMAS with the M4 doing some damage, but has been taken down if the call comes into play. Esperanto taking the spearhead approach, going straight in, plunging deep into mousesports in the form of Chris J, who was fully flashed. Couldn't see a single thing. That one M4 now sent reeling out by Snappy. The two young guns need to work together in tandem. Solid deagle from Frozen. There's another one. Not too far off a third. Could have gave mousesports. Holy shit, Danny. Thank you for the 5 gifted, bro. A little bit easy. 2 M4s, one of which in the hands of Rops. And he will not miss his chance. Spinks reeled out. That does allow the chance now of maybe something to come into play for mousesports. Carrigan with one of the worst buys a team possesses. They somehow make it work. They go for aggression. They throw caution to... And it's looking like that's going to be the case. Otto, last man standing. The Finn misses his AWP shot. He will be punished. So mousesports, if Carrigan can tweak a few settings, maybe that is the way forward, or perhaps not. Snappy straight in with an entry. And great cover from Spinks. AK in hand, gets dinked, but still takes off the head of Rops. And then spins around to Carrigan. He is a player that many... Flashes out. Frozen flashes himself more so than anyone else. No one checks the van. And now Frozen punishes too with his M4. But he finally comes to an abrupt end. Carrigan now had a slow start. It would be a great time for him to step up to the plate, but he unfortunately only gets one. And now the tag team duos of Snappy and Esperanto firing off against Rops and BMAS, and they have at least got one back, but there's Esperanto with it. Carrigan has just been destroyed as well there. Not quite sure what happened. As Chris J gets dropped hard, Rops does at least. Nice frag from Frozen, but he's instantly traded. It puts him in a really awkward spot. If he can get the first kill onto Snappy, which he has, then he can turn his attention towards Palace. And he's got 2. That's huge. That's all they could have asked for from him. And he's weakened Esperanto down to 31 HP. Now Rops has a nade and he has the AWP. And Esperanto with some aggression, charging straight out onto A. Rops is there, laid in wait, flashbang out, and a ton of grenades exchanged between the two teams. But look at Contact. They've already moved into Shadow. They've already moved into Firebox. And they have Snappy, who spots Rops. And his shoe just around the corner. This J with a solid headshot, keeping the dream alive. Keeping mousesports just about in this, but Esperanto has other plans. He continues to push in. Chris J, aggression through the smoke delivers before he's traded on the AWP. Looking to roll back the years. And instead, he gets... Esperanto, 2 beautiful entries against mousesports, who realistically don't have too much to play with, but they put that... Needs to be careful, but he has Snappy moving into position. Solid headshot onto Carrigan. Opens up the sight somewhat. They still need to be wary and cognizant of Rops. But he's off very shortly. Or perhaps not. BMAS with the deagle. Now shows his hand. Has an AK alongside it. If they want to try and win this map, it's going to be plays like this to bring them back into the matchup. Smooya has the right idea, but he doesn't hold the line. 20 seconds, time itself becoming a bit of an enemy, and Smooya realizing he can't afford to back away. He tries to change the angle of assault, and BMAS with the headshot. Spinks on the prowl with the AK. Ever vigilant, checking all of his angles. Carrigan with 2. 006 at one point, now he's waking up. Come around the corner right now, so let's jump on board with him. There's the first. Now the flank is in the fence, flashing out, will peek in, needs to deny the bomb plant, gets the bomb planter down, and that could be enough for the round, you know. It will be. places. And I want to feel comfortable that I'm being represented, or I'm representing a sponsorship that I believe in fully, you know? So, that's why I typically don't have them, but that may change in the future, we'll see. Back to the game. c0ntact Gaming. Ooh, c0ntact with the last bullet. On the clock, Carrigan, how's your aim? It's not on point, but he was flashed. And enough time for the plant with 5 seconds. c0ntact baited in, and he gets shut down from Spinks. Out come the T's. mousesports. How's the aim? Esperanto. Pixel perfect with his headshot. Rops does answer back onto Spinks though, and Esperanto comes back out, swinging through the smoke. An aggressive ChrisJ, spotting a player down on the CT side, which will be Snappy, has dealt with him accordingly. Now the two CTs turning their attention towards the site, but they're both missing, leaving it on c0ntact. He's already landed one, running out of bullets, running out of health and time. He has 1 bullet per T, but doesn't have a kit. This round is done. As good as c0ntact is, as crisp as his aim may be, any oncoming T's. Alleviating the pressure, that first kill comes in. Esperanto, unfortunate with the timing, just looks to his right as he gets peeked, but now Spinks, round the backside, has c0ntact to try and pivot off, sprays in for another one. c0ntact and ChrisJ need to hold the line. They still need to get the bomb plant, and actually, no, they don't. c0ntact's patience will be repaid in full. Esperanto goes looking, finds the information he was looking for, but at great cost, and Spinks can only muster up the strength for 1 frag. Otto in an awkward position, may go unchecked with his AWP, but now that he's fired off, now they're both flanking from the T side, clearing all of their angles. Another molly onto Ninja. c0ntact will be forced back, but in doing so, opens up himself for the kill into bmas. Good return kills, however, from mousesports, opening up the site. c0ntact going straight through into connector, and Rops joins the fulls. Even with a full investment, c0ntact haven't really been able to contain mousesports. Clearly, Carrigan has made a read. There was a flank, and they're down Rops. He will wait to see if more players line up for him. There goes Rops, looking for the second one, but the Deagle works against an abundance. c0ntact is going in for more. The timing works against him. He's unfortunate, but now needs to rest on the rest of his team to get the job done. He's giving the best possible foundations, but c0ntact smashes in. To c0ntact, the rest of mousesports, B site is completely vacant. They've given this up. Now with Otto together a buy. 9.6k for c0ntact. So 2 AWPs has rung out, but now the aggression. They've mixed it up from primarily A hits to now predominantly B hits. And Snappy, head will be caved in. Esperanto shows his hands. A miss will allow bmas the chance to maybe take some more kills. How is he still alive? How is he still putting this USP to use? And he's keeping them interested long enough that Esperanto is being tagged and fragged, leaving Otto, the first man to pick up a frag. It could come full circle for the Finn. A call may come through that bmas is low, and a USP will seal the deal. 1 bullet could finish this off for c0ntact. 18 seconds. Could this be their first CT round? Or will bmas pull this out the rabbit and make it work? He won't. He gets shut down. They go back to the old A hits, and Spinks has pushed them away with his M4. He goes in for another. It will be 2 to Spinks. Otto has to use the safety of the smoke to back away, and the fact that they got 2 kills means that he doesn't feel too pressured to go back in for more. If they'd lost a player, he may have stuck around and gone for a peek. Carrigan, snaking his way through connector, gets himself 2 at cost to his health. But both the T's are incredibly low. Now mousesports, that is the main way that he can come back into this. Both players have AWPs. The timing doesn't favor c0ntact as he gets tapped. Has got it done. He didn't need the basket. mousesports will be weary of all these angles. Now they've heard pistols rattling out. They'll know pretty much what's up against them. But it's the SMG from Spinks that will put them into a player advantage, but not for long. Rops and ChrisJ work in tandem. And they dispatch of Otto with the first, and able to scamper off and throw a smoke in there. Won't deter ChrisJ. He's going in for blood. He wants vengeance, and he finds it in the form of 1. Does check his angle, but Spinks able to stand tall for 2. And this M4 may very well seal the deal for Esperanto and c0ntact, who is bypassing the smoke and bypassing the player of Esperanto to actually weasel his way in. Can't get the spray down, but spotting Spinks. Carrigan finishes off. The post plant falls upon us, the smoke clears, and the two-man stack of Rops and Chris J is good enough to potentially yield the round. Smuya up on stairs with the AWP, not anticipating the sandwich player. And now Esperanto is the filling between the delicious crusts of Carrigan and Chris J. And that's a sentence I didn't, because if Frozen had gone in for a second, that could have opened up the floodgates. The flashbang is on point from BMAS, and Rops will follow it up. Keep in mind, he's a player on fire right now, and you can see with his aim, it's crisp. And condense this back down again with their AKs. Spinks smashed by BMAS up close, who speculatively starts to fire through the smoke, and he had the right idea. mousesports still not fully showing their hand. This is a really strange pick and mix approach, but Rops wraps around the side, and it was all down to this. Unleash this. Give them more time. They will be an exceptionally good team, I'm sure of it, if they stick together. Chris J with the AK. Great entry. Smuya will have to use that smoke. Gives him free passage to put a bullet down range. Chris J gets punished, but they're keeping two players on B. This leaves the A side that little bit weaker, and Spinks with one, catching Rops jumping out into the open. Does get answered back, but now get ahead of them. A retake with only a smoke and a flash, which have just been taken off the table, leaving Smuya 1 versus 3 against the world, and he cannot win even when it's not working, which is kind of the definition of insanity. More heads being thrown against the wall, and Smuya joining by Snappy have to try and retake again. Smuya's aim enough to dispatch of Frozen, but they're dealing the damage down from Carrigan's Tech 9, and down goes Smuya. It's a flawless mass up close, dropping down. Otto, perfect timing, but gets traded. Finds them boosting up. But it's Rops that still stands, and he is one of the main players. Snappy, though, coming in for 2. That's a beautiful flash, and Esperanto's aim is up to the task as well. Nice shot from Otto. Weapons to allow Spinks the opportunity to fire off with the AWP. Carrigan, right idea, and actually nails Snappy through the smoke. I thought for a second he'd get both, but Rops will make... Rops up close. Otto heard the footsteps, but still gets this match to bed. Spinks, there you go. I was going to say, you just saw him beforehand, but he was looking up towards window instead. Smuya is taking the point for his teammate. Spins around, and Frozen has been sent packing, leaving Rops with 15 HP to maneuver outside of Kitchen, and Spinks. Esperanto through the smoke, finding multiple players. There's one. Rops other side of the triple box will nullify him, neutralize the threat. But for how much longer? Smuya snuck his way into the window, still dispatching of players alongside Spinks. There could be more. This is what I was talking about. Even without the AWP, this guy can stand and trade with any... Wasn't the case. Carrigan now with 1. Looking to find and frag more. 3-on-3. Now down to a 2-on-2. And Frozen, not for the first time, in a clutch, and not for the first time, comes out with frags. All down to Otto, and 12 HP to his name as he comes around the corner. I thought he had that. Chris J, though, has definitely spotted him. He knows the bomb's on ramp. He's not hearing it go down, and there's not really enough time at this stage to justify a rotation. Now he knows where Otto is. How does he go so aggressive? Fortunately, I'd already finished it for today. That could have been awkward. Here come c0ntact again, though. Finally, mousesports have broken the curse of the CT side, but for how long? How long can they keep this up? Chris J, 1v1 clutch, and now Otto, the man that he put down. Oh, did he switch too early? Did he do the classic? No cost will be given at all if Smuya gets the upper hand on Frozen, which he does. Chris J up to the plate, headshot straight in, looking for the second. Needs to be wary of Smuya to his left-hand side, and the Englishman puts the AK to use. Sports needed Rops to stay alive. The talisman of the attack has been neutralized, but so has Spinks. Frozen Also, Smear right now trying to hold on to this orb. He's been spotted, he's been sprayed, and he's been fragged from Carrigan. But they have to pivot in for an entry, and they need one quickly. Esperanto still in position to fend off the oncoming attack. And another one. Carrigan pushes straight through. He's a dead man, and BMAS should be soon to follow. And Esperanto with a 4K. The mental fortitude will be tested. Gap in the smoke. Esperanto doesn't make the most of it, though. c0ntact have 2, and this could be the map coming to a close unless Frozen can turn the tides and use them against c0ntact. He's got 2 and nearly gets punished, but peeks out again. And Esperanto, who is not to be trifled with all the kills under his possession, comes out a really awkward with. And Esperanto on the CT boxes has had his head punctured from the AK round. But as soon as he takes a shot, he likely will get peeked, and he isn't given the opportunity. On top of the world, you lose, man. Now they know how I feel being a Newcastle fan. Frozen, beautiful entry, and a second. Now, he probably doesn't anticipate a third player to be in Shadow. Absolutely not. But the rest of his team are doing work over on the other side of the map. Esperanto, rest in peace. Never plus yours. Like, it's going to be like a long time of delay. But it was a joke, guys. Okay. Just laugh. It's all right. mousesports looking good to take this round 4v2. Smuya moving in alongside his teammate Carrigan. Hello. Flashbangs over Carrigan now looking in. Oh, he's missed a shot. That's a bit of a sitter. Fortunately, Spinks goes down straight afterwards. All clumped up around Tetris and Sandwich. Great flashbang tossed in. Actually, I think that was from the T, so I take that back. Depends on the context and whose position you're looking from. The lack of HP will be a bit of an issue for Chris J, especially as his teammates just been plucked out. They'll have no incendiaries or nades to actually toss in there and weaken out the herd. But a good frag from Frozen, accompanied by a flashbang again from c0ntact, is good for quite a few kills. The damage is fast towards c0ntact. Snappy and Otto both down to 11, both eating headshots from the M4A4. And Romps then pushed through the smoke until it's too late. He can't deny the bomb plant, but he does deny the life of Smuya and goes on to Otto afterwards. 2 kills already. A bullet anywhere on his person and he's gone. There's an incendiary for BMAS who's tossed one in. Snappy's dead. Burns to a crisp. He's out. Here's that aggression again up middle, but this time it backfires. Away from that one. Drops by peeking. Good flashbang. Only the 1 kill following it up. And c0ntact are looking good to take us into yet another overtime. The never-ending game continues, it would seem. Frozen with 1. Frozen getting blasted by Esperanto. Putting up a blockade. Blockade is good. Derailing Spinks with the flick will not yield anything. Chris J still there. Both their AWPers are perched up on the site, playing up close. The combat AWP's looking good, and it's the M4 that comes out and cleans up. First half, I was going to say. It could be 2-0 up, which I don't think has happened yet on the CT side. Snappy and Otto both been smacked down hard. Carrigan on the cross with the AWP. Now Rops waiting. Can hear the taps. Can hear the tags onto Spinks, and we'll finish off what his teammate started. I think it was Frozen that got the assist on that one. Snappy with 1 kill. Needs to go 2 better. Post plant coming up. Allows the CTs to get up close. However, if they line up, he could do this. He knows where the last player is. It's Carrigan. Snappy could pull this one off, you know. 37 HP remaining, and the USP. c0ntact flashed numerous times. Now pushing onto the side, but Carrigan's there with the AWP. He really seems to have come alive in these last 10-15 rounds. Kill isn't there. Damage has been inflicted, however. Great shots across the board on mousesports. Smuya's waiting in the smoke. Sprayed out from Rops. And Esperanto with the M4 just behind him. Looking to try and carve back in and cultivate the clutch. But they're going to have to move into this one uphill. This is a steep challenge ahead of them. And Otto, the last man standing, but not for much longer. And the marathon has come to an end. And it sees mousesports pass.